Because I walk around with condoms and lubes in my bag every day. If the police officer would pull me over, they would find condoms and lubes in my bag every day. It's scary sometimes because sometimes you would like my bag would drop and you see condoms and lubes coming out. Definitely one of the main reasons for the higher rate of STIs is because the community itself is pretty small. You have individuals on the various islands who are, I would say, for shorter words, it's like, they all kind of intermingle and they all are in the same kind of circle. You also have different sections or fragments of the LGBT community that kind of overlap and that causes community spread. And then with the stigma about being homosexual in the Bahamas, you have a lot of people who are just simply afraid of getting tested. Caribbean men specifically don't ever go to the doctor until they're about to die. So you can imagine going to the doctor and being like, oh, this is burning, or I have something that is a bit, off. Like how do you kind of approach that? The Ministry of Health has been doing a lot of work within public health to sensitize their staff on how to deal with it. But it's definitely been a battle. women generally are Women generally know their body, but women tend to, from my experience, women tend to, instead of equating it with an STD, they equate it with a reproductive issue. So they would go to the clinic for a pap smear, or they would think that they have a yeast infection or something similar to that, when it's definitely something more. Mm-hmm. A lot of women contract STDs, even the ones who are only involved with women, because they are never educated about the importance of protecting their toys. Even if I'm, even if I even if I've never been with, if I was a woman and I never been with a man, the fact that my sex toy may have been used by somebody else for penetration is even more reason for me to put a condom on it, clean it, sterilize it, not just use it, toss it to the side, rinse it off a little bit and toss it to the side. Men, however, like, yeah, it burning today, but it ain't burning tomorrow, I could jump back in it. That's the crazy mindset that men in general have. So in the LGBT community, it's even more exaggerated because you have certain viruses or certain strains of a virus that can linger in your body and you can transmit it without even having any symptoms at all. So that's the scary part right there. So Sash Bahamas is definitely one of the flagship LGBT organizations, along with Bahamas Urban Youth Development Center, as well as the Bahamas AIDS Foundation, the Marco Foundation. There are many other organizations out there who definitely put a strong eye on assisting the LGBT community. But the issue that we had at Touch Bahamas was you had a lot of hetero people who was like, well, okay, well, if this is what y'all doing and I didn't know bad things come out of that, let me get a piece of that too. So we had so many volunteers from the University of Bahamas campus that we ended up creating a whole chapter just for the campus, just to address issues and concerns on the campus, because we realized that generation, like that age bracket right there between maybe 15 and 25, the STD rates were just like crazy, and they weren't getting the right information. I think it's all about getting the right information. There was a huge cloud over getting tested. So it's like, yeah, you can get tested all you want, but you need to go get treatment. Mm-hmm. You need to make sure that you're keeping your body in check. So it is something that we definitely want. We want more of these LGBT community groups to kind of stand up and step out. We definitely want the University of Bahamas campus to be a safe space for everyone. Many, yeah. Scary truth that I always wanted to be a myth. Individuals in the LGBT community have this crazy notion that if I'm having sex with you with the same sex, I can't get you pregnant, so we don't need to use protection. Yeah. That is just mind blowing to me. And, I feel you can't trust people generally. So you have to take the ownership on yourself. You have to make sure that you are protected. You have to make sure that you go get tested. Make sure that you are treated. Because if you are a healthy vessel, you don't have to worry about contracting anything. To me, sex ed is so important. Sex ed is just as important as religion, teaching religion in school. And when I say teaching it in school, I don't mean just teaching what the Bible says. I mean teaching the full spectrum of it, exposing them to what Rastafarianism is, exposing them to what Buddhism is, and these kind of things. Because the moment we educate our kids, is the moment that they feel empowered and they feel like they have self worth and they can make decisions on their own. If you're gonna teach sex ed, let them know about all, like, we don't have to get into sexual orientation if we don't want to, but if we get into it, you need to differentiate sexual orientation with sexual identity, and talk about consensual. I think consent is the big thing. A lot of times these young people feel like they're giving consent, but they're really not giving consent. They're being pressured into it by, not even by the person who they're having sex with, but by their friends. I would encourage people to go ahead, remember, get tested at least twice a year. I would say every 3 to 6 months. Get the full screening. Even if you went there for an HIV test, demand a full screening. They can do it, and you can get your results in a day. Like, knowing is better than not knowing, and there's truth in knowing your truth, and taking ownership of your sexual health. That's empowering. Trust me, it is. It is.